Hey guys, this is IntroducingEmy and we're back with another 100 days of making comics. I'm sorry I've been gone for a little while. I kind of had to do some other thingies in my life. I had to go on hiatus because I have a bunch of cons coming up in November. And yeah, but anyway, we're going to do this today. We're going to go over an old page. I'm not probably going to do the entire thing on camera, but I'm at least going to get it started. So this is the old page. This is page 194 from chapter 6. And right now, this is the only panel that I am like, yeah, that one looks good. But I'm going to turn it off temporarily, and I'm going to kind of sketch in what I want the new one to look like. So I'm kind of like redlining my own work here. Where's my brush? Good. Let me just do one last thing and make sure laziness is not too high. Great. Okay, so like I said, I think this panel's good. And I'm gonna real quick draw out my danger zones. And I'm going to hit Control H to hide that, hide my borders, and then I'm going to hit multiply. So yeah, okay, and then let me, I guess I should number these panels underneath. I'll number them in a different color on a different layer, just so I don't start incorporating them. So I want this to be 1, this to be 2. No. I want this to be 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't like that. I mean, I kind of get why I did it before, but I don't really like, I have all this like negative space over here that isn't doing anything. And one of the big things I've been doing with the new pages is trying to use space better, like trying to make my pages look more filled, I guess. They were sort of empty in the past. So I think another thing is my text bubbles are pretty small now because I've reformatted the old text and put it at a more readable font size. So this balloon with hue is probably going to go more like that. And since I'm doing that, I'm going to probably I was going to say I'm probably going to move the head over, but maybe I won't. I actually normally don't do these kind of like layout sketches for these pages just because usually they're not too far off from what I want. But this one's kind of a big important reveal page, so I want it to be extra special. Extra nicely laid out. So this panel here, where Kowalski's like full of himself and he's saying, you know, go on, say it, I'm amazing. I really want this panel here. Like, I really want to somehow gutter the joke in over here. But if I do that, I don't know. I kind of like that because this is all like sort of empty and you see his whole thing, his whole body and his whole appearance in the next one. So I think this is going to become panel 2 with the joke balloon here. And I'm not bothering to like redraw this kind of stuff. I'll just take the line art from the old one and kind of tack it in there until I can draw over top of it. So this is the next, so the next thing is this hand coming out here. touch the glass. This is panel 3. And then this is the big thing that I wanted. Oh man, I don't like that though. See how this is hanging lower than this? You could easily read this one first. You could just go bump, bump, bump. I know people would do that. So let's, I think I might sync the panel more. So I don't know if this is like, these are real words, this is just words I'm using. So what I'm thinking is maybe I'll have it actually end more like right there. And I'll cut this out right here. I think that'll read better. My other thought is, rather than having 2 horizontal panels pretty much right in a row, like right next to each other, or one right after another, maybe I'll do something a little more like this. It's not really an action. I don't like doing this for things it's not very action-y or movement oriented, so well, let's put in the important thing that I'm definitely sure of. This guy right here is going to be pitched at a little bit of an angle. I'm thinking something like that. Not like a complete like corner to corner, but just a gentle angle. In fact, what's the percentage? 16 degrees. So panel number 4 will be 16 degrees, maybe. And I think I'm going to go a little smaller here. And I'm going to angle his collar way down so that you can see his entire face on his first scene. This is the first time you really get to see hues in as a human, so it's important. And then glass will be like over here. And I think rather than just having his like one arm just hanging dead out of the frame, I think I'm going to bring it up and have him put it on his own chest. Maybe that would look nice, something like that. Yeah. I actually kind of prepped this page a while ago. Sometimes when I'm bored and I want to work, but I don't necessarily want to draw, I'll go through and just get pages like ready and reformatted for redos, so that like when I do feel like drawing, I can just sit down and start drawing and not have to like draw panels and text and all that stuff. But anyway, so like I set this page up a while ago, and I wasn't even really thinking about it. I was like watching TV while I was doing it and stuff, so I wasn't even really thinking about what was happening in these shots. And I just pretty much drew new panels on top of the old ones. And then I came back and looked at it like 2 days ago, and I was like, what is going on here? This is not the business. And it needs to be giving me the business. Ugh, I don't know why I'm fidgeting with that so much. It doesn't matter. And then, let's see here. I don't know what to do with this panel. Maybe I just don't want it to feel like just any other shot. Maybe it looks okay now that I've like yeah, we'll just move it lower. I think that'll help separate it from the joke up above. Whose name is Kowalski? No, that's me. So, yeah, we'll do something like this. I'm not going to take it the whole way over. I'm just going to do something like that. I could round the ends. Yeah, I could do like a sort of a pill shape. Would that look weird? I'll put curved ends on it for now, and I'll think about it. I very rarely use that kind of a panel, unless it's for something big and important like this. So, maybe I will use it. Who knows? It's a mystery. It is a mystery that we will uncover together. So that should be like lower. Again, I don't know why I'm bothering, like trying to really block out this shape, because once I go to actually sit down with each individual panel and really put the time work in, I'm going to be like, that will be the time. That will be the time allotted for such things. Okay, so now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we just need to find a nice little place for Kowalski to go. Oh, Hugh, you're my best friend, of course. He doesn't really say that. Maybe... No, I'm gonna put his text balloon right there. Again, I could always move Hugh over a little bit, but and then like put the Kowalski thing over here. But is that what I want to do? I kind of do. I kind of just want to like get rid of this because it bothers me. And then I think one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate this a little. No, I hate when it does this. Lately it's been deleting on the deselect, and I can't for the life of me figure out why it's doing that. So I only turned it like a couple degrees, so this should be, yeah, that's perfect actually. So that's 12 degrees. But do I want this panel at 12 degrees? Is this the thing I want? His hips say no. Maybe I will still draw it at 16 and just be careful. Yeah, because I kind of like the 16 degrees. It's kind of like the perfect angle. I think it's one that I've used. I think it's a measurement that I go back to a lot. Ugh, this is going to be a toughie. I don't know. I really like it being in that position, like right back there, but it's going to be hard to fit this face into just this little area, especially with his arm being out here. And no matter like how much I shrink it in, I mean, it's still going to be kind of like a tight fit. And yeah, I don't like it when characters look like their poses are cramped up, or like their arms are in a lot closer than they need to be just because of panels, which was something I used to do all the time. Because I was a garbage child made of garbage. You didn't know anything about anything. Oh my gosh. The more I move it over, though, the more it chews up that hand panel, which I kind of like that little, like, moment. Maybe I could just move this down more? Oh, Hugh, you're killing me here. This panel is so important to me. I might, like, just barely have it going over. So these, I think I've said this before, but this little half-inch border around, that frames my live area, and the live area is where all the important information should be when you go to print, because when the actual machinery is printing out the pages and, you know, chopping them up to be put into a book, sometimes the crop will bounce a little bit and it will like irk in just a teeny bit. Usually it's never more than like a quarter of an inch or that. But like a half an inch is like absolute worst. You know, earthquake hits the publishing house, and you know it bounces in really far. So that's like the absolute worst. So I'm just gonna just have it, you know, skirting the edge a little bit here. But what I'll make sure to do is... Actually, is this a left or right page? I always forget which ones. This is a left page. Okay, so there's probably a pretty good chance you're going to see that little curve there. And again, it's not set in stone. But then I'll have the hand here. And I'll try to push Hugh's head and everything back more, and then am I still in 16? Yeah. He'll probably have an outline around him in a different color, I'm not sure, but There we go. So now when I put Quaski's like, oh, Hugh face. Hugh's so sweet. I don't know where I'm going to put the text for this, though. His hair takes up a lot of free panel space. And I don't like using, like, thought bubbles. I think they look kind of corny for my comic. Specifically because, like, characters speak with their thoughts, and so, like, I don't know. It just seems weird to me to have it for me. Maybe I won't even have it like him being like, oh, you in his mind. Maybe I'll just have him kind of like shrugging, you know, like, blush you. I don't know if they can even blush. Whatever. I'll think of something else, though. And then this is going to be the dead blackness of space back here. Also have his hair sticking out of the panel. I don't know. Still thinking about that. But yeah, so now let's draw some frames in. And let me get rid of my old green numbers. I don't need them. Now I know this looks rough as the dickens, but it should be okay. Oh, and I just heard my doggy do a little snort McSnort. I think sometimes she kind of gets exasperated with me talking all the time. What am I at? 22%. Might go out a little bit more. Now, this is not always how I do panels, so just cool your jets before you start immediately doing it my way here. Ugh. Just like that. Because I have so many different shapes, rather than, usually what I do is I just kind of do all black, and I'll use the rectangle marquee to just cut them out. I try to keep all my frame stuff simple. Like, some people will have like every frame on a different layer, and like just the frames on like all shaped tool type stuff, and I don't do that because I'm lazy. I just pretty much keep it all simple. Now, if I worked at like a big, you know, big guns up top publishing company, I would probably have to stick to whatever they would want from me, but for now, this is what we do. And then, I don't know, I'll set this at like, I think 30 was like my max. Now, one thing I don't like is when you have your, by the way, if you double click on a layer, it'll pull up your layer window, and if you go to stroke, and I've mentioned this before, but stroke is sometimes up here, sometimes it's down here. It kind of depends on what version of Photoshop you have, and if you're using any mods or, you know, whatever. Lots of different variables, but it should be always in your layer style window. So double click on your layer, it'll bring up this, checkmark stroke, go to size, and you can set your size. I like to use nice round numbers and not just like, I don't know, or, you know, like 20, 25, 30. I don't like to just be like 27. So yeah, I like to set it at something that I use all the time. And then if you have it set to outside, it kind of bevels your corners, which may or may not be the effect you want. And you can see it here in the preview box, little bevels. And I want these to be like, you know, very sharp edges. So if you go to center, you'll start to see it, and if you go to inside all the way, it will conform to the outer shape. However, that kind of brings up some other things that you have to sort of fix a little bit. Yeah, like that. I'm going to have to go in there and kind of adjust that. See how it puts the stroke right at the top of my page? Yeah, that was pretty good. But again, it's like got a little stroke there, so I've got to... So we go... I gotta go nice and close. Now I know this isn't perfect, but for what we're doing, this is pretty good. Like I said, I normally don't do my frames like this, so it's usually a much quicker and smoother process. Okay, and then we turn off contiguous. Make sure that's really a nice line. And let's turn the opacity back up on the frames we already drew. Also, this would probably go a little quicker if I wasn't explaining it. I just don't want you guys to think that I'm like putzing around all the time on my panels for like a half an hour. For now, we'll just do something like that. I don't know why I went way over there. Oops. Oops, oops, oops. And, actually, just so that this is all nice and neat. Ah, I hate that. I think I'm gonna have Hugh like covering up most of the black. Like on this side he'll be overlapping onto these black gutters, but for now I'm just gonna draw a tidy 16-degree line and be done with it. And then I can fill in black as I see fit. Like that. So yeah, that's pretty much that. I need to redo the text. I'm already at 30 minutes, so I think I'll do that for the next video. Alright, I will see you guys later. Bye!